What time you get off tonight? 6:30? 7?
Don't forget your change.
All right, reach, come on, I'm not kidding you. Let's go. All right, come on, in the back. Down on the floor, hurry up.
Good evening. Welcome to Insomnia Theater. I'm Paul Gannis. After taking $20 from his employer to go on a date with plans to repay it the next day, an auto mechanic falls into increasingly disastrous circumstances for more and more money, which rapidly spirals out of his control in Quicksand, a 1950 American film noir that stars Mickey Rooney and Peter Lorre. Quicksand was directed by Irving Pitchell, shortly before he was included in the Hollywood Blacklist, which was instituted by the House Un-American Activities Committee to block screenwriters with suspected communist affiliation from obtaining employment. The film provided Rooney with an opportunity to play against type, performing in a role starkly different from his earlier role as the innocent nice guy in MGM's popular Andy Hardy film series. Rooney co-financed Quicksand with Peter Lorre, but their shares of the profits were reportedly left unpaid by a third partner. Most of the film was shot on location in Santa Monica, California, with exteriors at the old Santa Monica Pier. Jazz cornetist Red Nichols and his Five Pennies group are seen and heard in a nightclub scene. Peter Lorre's fellow actors in Quicksand were impressed with his performances on the set. Commenting on the film in a later interview, Jeanne Cagney observed the following about Lorre: "He did it with all his might. Even though the picture was not a top-drawer film, he still approached it as if it were the A picture of all A pictures." The composer of the musical score for Quicksand, Russian-born Louis Gruenberg, was a great lover of American jazz and a close friend of the renowned Austrian composer Arnold Schoenberg. When hired to work on the film, both Gruenberg and director Irving Pitchell were already under congressional investigation by the House Un-American Activities Committee as it searched to identify and expose communists and any of their sympathizers in the movie industry, labor unions, journalism, and in many other areas of American society. Rooney and Lorre, by financing the production of Quicksand themselves, had the power to give their beleaguered colleagues much-needed opportunities to be employed and to share their creative talents. Despite Rooney and Lorre's efforts to help the composer and director, Gruenberg and Pitchell soon vanished from Hollywood. Quicksand was released on March 24, 1950, and distributed by United Artists. Newspaper and trade publication reviews of the film in 1950 were mixed, with many being either mildly complimentary or negative. The LA Times is one of the major newspapers that year that gives the film a generally positive review. While the newspaper deems the film's plot as predictable, it still assures moviegoers that it is one that grips you every minute. The LA Times also draws particular attention to the performances of the supporting cast and to the subtleties in Rooney's portrayal of Dan Brady. Without undue gestures or mugging, Mickey gets over his emotions and thoughts chiefly through his eyes. Jeanne Cagney plays the role of a girl who can only be described by a 5-letter word and makes the part vivid. Peter Lorre is duly sinister, and Barbara Bates as a patient Griselda sweetheart will please you even if you do feel at moments like hitting her one for being so dog-devoted to an indifferent Mickey. Decades after its release, Quicksand continues to draw the attention of film historians and movie fans, especially among those with a special interest in film noir. In his 2013 interview, Bruce Eder for AllMovie notes that Rooney gives what many consider to be the best performance of his career, and he considers the film to be one of the more fascinating social documents of its era. On a personal note, I had the absolute honor and privilege of working with Mr. Rooney on one of his last projects. He was wonderfully professional, engaging, full of stories and anecdotes, and kept us all laughing on the set the entire day. Thank you, Mr. Rooney. The honor was mine. Until next time, this is Paul Gannis. The popcorn's hot. Enjoy the film.
Whatever it is, I'll take it.
Whenever it is, I'll be waiting for you, Dan. If you want me to.
You're a great gal, Helen.
I love you, Dan.
That goes both ways.